Namaste and welcome back to Typical Monk. Today, we wire up the nervous system. We will see how a single neuron carries a message, how the synapse passes it on, and how the brain and the sense organs read the world. And we will drill it the neat way too, one idea at a time. Here is today's path. 5 stops. First, the neuron, its parts and its job. Second, resting and action potential, that is, the nerve impulse. Third, the synapse and how it passes the message on. Fourth, the central nervous system and the reflex arc. And fifth, the eye, the ear, and the NEET drills. Let's start with the neuron, the structural unit of the nervous system. The dendrites carry the impulse toward the cell body. The cell body holds the nucleus and the Nissel's granules. The axon carries the impulse away. To its end, the synaptic knobs. A myelin sheath, made by Schwann cells, wraps many fibers. The gaps between are the nodes of Ranvier. And by shape, there are 3 types: multipolar in the cerebrum, bipolar in the retina, and unipolar in the embryo. Now, how does the neuron actually carry a message? At rest, the axoplasm is high in potassium and low in sodium, while outside is the reverse. So the membrane sits polarized, outside positive, inside negative. This is the resting potential. The sodium-potassium pump keeps this gradient, pumping 3 sodium out for every 2 potassium it brings in. Now, a stimulus opens the sodium gates. Sodium rushes in, and that side depolarizes. The inside turns positive. This reversal is the action potential. Right after, potassium flows out and the site repolarizes. And this disturbance travels along the axon as the impulse. The impulse reaches the end of the axon. Now it must cross to the next neuron at the synapse. There are 2 kinds: an electrical synapse, which is fast, direct, and rare, and a chemical synapse, which is the common one. At a chemical synapse, the 2 membranes are separated by a synaptic cleft. The knob holds vesicles of neurotransmitter, such as acetylcholine. The arriving impulse makes those vesicles fuse and release the neurotransmitter into the cleft. It then binds receptors on the postsynaptic membrane, opens ion channels, and starts a fresh impulse there. Now, the central nervous system, and one of its neatest tricks. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. The brain has forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. The cerebrum is its largest part. The cerebellum handles balance and coordination. The medulla controls breathing and heart rate. The hypothalamus manages hunger, thirst, and temperature. A reflex action is an automatic, very fast response that runs through the spinal cord, not waiting for the brain. Its path, the reflex arc, is receptor, sensory neuron, spinal cord, motor neuron, effector. Think of the knee jerk. Now the sense organs, the eye and the ear. The eye wall has 3 coats. The sclera, with the cornea in front, the choroid, which forms the iris and ciliary body, and the inner retina. The retina holds rods for dim light, using rhodopsin made from vitamin A, and cones for bright light and color. In the ear, the 3 ossicles are malleus, incus, and stapes, and the cochlea holds the organ of Corti for hearing. The semicircular canals, with the saccular nutricle, handle balance, not hearing. Now, the high-yield pointers, the facts that NEET turns into questions. 1. At rest, the membrane is outside positive and inside negative. The action potential reverses it. 2. The pump moves 3 sodium out for every 2 potassium in. 3. Most synapses are chemical, and the common transmitter is acetylcholine. 4. The medulla controls breathing and heartbeat. The cerebellum controls balance. 5. Rods hold rhodopsin for dim light, cones give color, and balance sits in the semicircular canals. Now the first drill, assertion and reason. Each time, ask, is it true? Is R true? And does R explain A? First, A. During an action potential, the inside of the axon becomes positive. R. Sodium ions rush into the axon at the stimulated site. Both are true, and R correctly explains A. So the answer is A. Second, A cerebellum controls the rate of breathing. R. The cerebellum maintains posture and balance. Here, A is false, but R is true. So the answer is D. Third, our rods are responsible for vision in dim light. Our rods contain the pigment rhodopsin. Both are true, and R explains A, so the answer is A. Now, the second drill, match the column. Make the correct pairing. Cerebellum, balance and coordination. Medulla oblongata, breathing and heart rate. Cochlea, hearing, that is, the organ of Corti. And rhodopsin, the rods for dim light vision. Now the third drill. How many of these statements are correct? Check them one by one. First, an action potential is a reversal of the resting membrane polarity. This is correct. Second, cones are the photoreceptors used for vision in dim light. This is wrong. That is the job of rods. Third, a reflex arc passes through the spinal cord, not the brain. This is correct. So the correct statements, 2, that is, the first and the third. Now let's clear the mistakes students fall for. Myth, dendrites carry the impulse away from the cell body. Truth, dendrites bring it toward the cell body. The axon carries it away. Myth, the semicircular canals are for hearing. Truth, they are for balance. The cochlea does the hearing. Now test yourself. Answer each one before it is revealed. Answer first. That is how you build strong NEET recall. Question 1. Which ion rushes in during depolarization? Answer: sodium. Question 2. The common neurotransmitter at a synapse, acetylcholine. Question 3. Which brain part controls breathing? The medulla oblongata. Question 4. The pigment in rods, rhodopsin. Question 5. Which ear part handles balance? The semicircular canals. Let's gather it all in one breath. The neuron dendrites carry in, the axon carries out, and myelin speeds the impulse. The resting membrane is polarized. A sodium influx makes the action potential. The synapse passes the message using a neurotransmitter. Cerebellum for balance, medulla for breathing, and the reflex arc runs through the spinal cord. Rods for dim light, cones for color, the cochlea hears, and the semicircular canals balance. In the next class, chemical coordination, that is, the endocrine glands and their hormones. See you there. You just wired up the nervous system, from a single neuron to the whole brain. Be proud. One idea at a time, with a calm mind, and you will crack NEET. This is Typical Monk. Every class, always free.